Hey, thank you for taking the time to click on today's video. Today we're going to be discussing, that's right, your favorite topic, taxes. The reality is that so many of us know about taxes, but we don't understand the nuances of taxes. And when it comes to investing, when it comes to selling and liquidating things, when it comes to just being best prepared for what's going to be coming our direction as life evolves and changes for us in retirement, we need to keep in mind taxation. Now, taxes are going to come, generally speaking, in two different variations. The first income taxation that we need to be aware of is going to be the ordinary income tax. That's going to be the tax that you pay on the income that you receive. However, not all taxes are created equal. So the next kind of tax that we need to be really educated on is the capital gains tax. Now, capital gains taxes are going to come in two different forms. The first form is going to be the short-term taxation, or the short-term capital gain, and the second is going to be the long-term capital gain. Now, what is the difference between short-term and long-term? Well, short-term capital gains tax refers to you holding an asset. Could be a piece of real estate, could be a stock or a mutual fund, really anything that you've held less than 365 days. So let's say that you bought a stock, that stock was $100, now it's worth $120, and you decide to sell that stock at a gain after only owning it 6 months. What that means is that you're going to end up paying a short-term capital gain on that $20 of gain that you made when you sold the stock. Now, what are the repercussions of a short-term capital gain? Well, short-term capital gain is going to be taxing you based upon your current income tax bracket. So what does this mean to you? Well, if your total income plus this gain is going to be putting you into the 12% tax bracket, that means you're going to pay 12% on the $20 of gain that you receive from the sale of that stock. Now, what happens if you're in the 22% tax bracket? Well, the same rule is going to apply. You're going to pay 22% on that $20 of gain that you received. Now, ideally, what we want to do in life is pay as little tax as legally possible. And this is the reason why so many investors today are chasing long-term capital gains. What does that mean? Well, a long-term capital gain is you owning an asset for more than 365 days. If you've owned that asset for longer than 365 days, and let's go back to our original illustration, you bought that stock for $100, a year later we'll say that that stock's worth $120, and then you decide to sell it. Well, now you're going to receive a long-term capital gains tax, except that tax is now going to be discounted. Now, this is where it gets a little confusing for folks, but pay attention because this is very important. We know that we live in a very progressive tax system. And what that means is the more income a person has, the more taxation that they're going to receive on that income. So let's go back to the original story that we are in the 12% tax bracket. Well, if you're in the 12% tax bracket, you've sold the stock after owning it for a year, now you're going to end up paying, that's right, 0 long-term capital gains tax. Now that's on the federal side. Your mileage may vary depending upon the state in which you live. But federally, if you're in the 12% bracket, you're going to pay absolutely nothing. Now, what happens if, let's say, you were in the 22% tax bracket? Well, we still have good news. The good news is that you're going to end up paying 15% on that long-term capital gain that you realized from selling stock after holding it for a year. Now, what you notice is that if you go into the 24% tax bracket, you lose a little bit of that discount. So you're still getting 4% less taxation than the bracket that you would find yourself in, but nevertheless, it is less tax. Now, let's throw in a bonus. This is something that so many people don't realize, and that is that the IRS has a special taxation just for collectibles. I don't care if you're collecting stamps, I don't care if you're collecting baseball cards, I don't care if you're collecting precious metals. But the reality is that when we have collectibles, and we have generally taken and used money to buy these collectibles in order to seek appreciation. Well, if I buy this baseball card, this rookie card from Jose Canseco, it's probably going to become worth more in the future. Well, let's say that you end up taking and liquidating some of those baseball cards, or you end up selling some of your gold eagles. Well, the reality is that you're going to end up paying a special collectibles capital gains tax. Now, is this one discounted like the long-term capital gains tax? And the answer is absolutely not. In fact, this is a flat tax of 28%. Now, why do I bring this up to your attention? Because today, with the world the way that it is, so many people are saying, you know what, I need to cash in everything, and I need to go out and I need to buy gold, I need to buy silver, I need to buy precious metals. I think that that's really where it's at. That's the only thing that really, in all honesty, I can really trust in. Well, if that's the way you feel, that's the way you feel. I would tend to suggest not putting all your eggs in one basket. But realize that when you own precious metals, especially if you own it the physical way, which I do recommend if you're going to own that physical precious metal, is that it's going to be more challenging for liquidation. Everybody wants to sell you what they have. But when it comes to you exchanging and selling those gold bullions or those gold eagles or those silver coins that you have, this is going to be more challenging. And when you think about selling it at a gain and potentially paying nearly 30% in tax on that gain, now all of a sudden that precious metal begins to lose a little bit of its luster. Pardon the pun. The other thing that I would ask you to consider, specifically when it comes to precious metals, is surviving spouses. You know, when a spouse passes and it was the spouse's bag to buy all of that precious metal, the reality is that after you've passed, now it's going to be your spouse's responsibility to liquidate and get rid of those and sell those, hopefully at a profit, if she possibly can. Now, what if both of you are gone? It might have been your thing. You might have really been involved in the precious metals, but you pass, and now all of these precious metals pass on to the children. Are they going to know how to liquidate these if they want to, if they need to? Are they going to know what to do, what price you paid for it, and what is going to actually be received if they sell it? Now, there is one silver lining to this storm cloud, and that is that precious metals, collectibles, are indeed going to receive a step up in basis, just like real estate will, just like, say, owning a stock that you purchased way back when, and when you die, you still own it, and it's now worth a lot more than what you bought it for. Those types of things are going to receive a step up in basis. So that's the good news, but that step up in basis doesn't ordinarily occur for the spouse. That occurs for the children. So what this means is, what we're personally seeing, a lot of parents owning these precious metals, holding them for a very specific reason. They die, those metals receive a step up in basis. Now children are immediately selling those because they realize that if they hold them and they continue to appreciate, they're going to end up being on the hook for a 28% capital gain. So I hope this video was helpful to you in better understanding that not all taxes are created equal. We're kind of familiar with the normal ordinary income tax. Capital gains tax may be a little iffy, but this one down here may be brand new to you. And it may actually apply to you and your family and how you're investing. So make certain to do your own research. Make certain to know the entire story as to what the repercussions of owning precious metals are if this is a direction that's going to hold most of your retirement wealth. I'm Matthew Johnson. Thank you so much for watching. And if I can ask, if we've earned your trust in this little video, give us a thumbs up, share this with your friends, and hit that subscribe button if you'd like to see further videos. Thank you so much, and remember, it's up to you to make today a great day.